Hey guys, welcome back, Bushcraft family, with another video. And I know some people out there that watch my channel doesn't watch TV or anything, but sometimes there are some interesting programs that do come on TV. One in particular is Extracted on Fox. Didn't think it was going to be too interesting, but I do know that Dave Canterbury, sorry, had a moment there, is involved in this. And I know him. He's a fellow Ohioan and a survivalist. And I think he's an equipment. He does stuff with the equipment on the show and ideas and things like that. So basically what this show is, an individual gets put out into the wilderness and has to survive. They cannot pull themselves out. It has to be the family members or the friends that are at a base camp, so to speak. And they're all in the same room. They can hear what's going on. They can watch the feed on the big screen and stuff. And they are the ones that will, do the extracting. With that being said, I'm going to go over some of the contestants or the survivalists that are out there. Some of them they didn't cover on the first episode, not as much, so we don't really know much about them as of right now. But I will go over some of the people who are out there right now. Some, I'm surprised, made it the first night. They hinted that there might be an extraction already for the second night. And I'm going to go over some of the details here. The first one that sticks out is an 18-year-old named of Anthony. He has two co-parents, meaning they're separated. Now, he is a well-to-do. He's a model. His dad was an NFL quarterback. His mom was a crop dusting mother, as she says, not a helicopter mom, but crop dusting, much closer. The show is quite interesting, I might add. We'll put it this way: he's gung-ho to go out there and whatnot. He made it the first night. Now, the part I'm going to come up with here is the people the family members or, the friends, those people who are in the base camp, they can see and hear everything that's going on. They have their own quarters that they can go to sleep and everything. And everybody went to bed that night and left their loved ones be, except for Anthony's mom. Anthony's mom stayed up the whole night watching over her son. The next day, the alarm goes off and says, we're going to offer drops. And you have 1 minute to go into the shed area where they have all the equipment. And you have 1 minute to put all the items that you want to in a crate and latch it before the 1 minute. If you don't latch it in the 1 minute, you don't get, your survivalist doesn't get anything. So they went in and they got him some fishing gear, a knife, a sleeping bag, food, water, a fire starter, kindling. They filled it up good. Now the thing is with these drops, when people go in to fill these crates up, there isn't enough for all 12 members. So there are things that's going to be left out of the group, so to speak. And this is where it's going to get to cutthroat. And there's one group that had stuck in way more than they should have. I'll get to that in a minute. But back to Anthony. He got his crate and he got all of his stuff, and he was already starting to complain a little bit beforehand. He said, "You guys better got me some good stuff," and yeah. Anyways, when he got his stuff, because it's dropped from the air or whatever, the fishing gear was in a knot, and he had to untangle it. Well, that didn't go over too good. He called his parents idiots, dummies, some other words, and he ended up breaking it because he got frustrated. Again, remember, he's 18 years old. And he went back to the camp. He ended up making a fire. And then he hinted around and said, "Once this fire's out, I want you to hit the button." And he's pissed and whatnot. And he's over banging on the cameras saying, "Hey, I want out of here," this and that. And the parents, the mother wants him to suffer, which I totally agree with. He needs some humility. He needs to not, when times get tough, not to call mommy and daddy. The father is more worried about his reputation. He said, if we don't pull him out, he's going to be a meme. And he needs to be more worried about the son instead of if he's going to be a meme or not. Okay. That being said, we'll move on to Divana. Divana is a hairdresser, and her two friends are her group, so to speak, the ones that are in the base camp. She gets out there and she's in these fancy bright colored pink glasses, and she's already feeling it, and she probably the first half an hour she's already crying and having a rough time. And she said, "Well, I thought we were all going to be camping together into a big nice campground area. I didn't know we was going to be out here in the wilderness with all the beasts and things." So she sat there most of the time during daylight, sitting down and complaining, so to speak. She didn't build a shelter, didn't get anything ready. The next night, or the next day, she gets up and she said she stayed up all night. I don't know if I wasn't there watching or anything, but again, it's time for the drop. So the two girls that are on her team, they got her bear spray, they got her a light sleeping bag, fire starter, all kinds of goodies. When it's time to drop off her crate, she couldn't find it. It took her most of the day to find her crate. She did find it and was grateful for everything that was in that crate, which was a good sign. She did break down and start crying, but it was telling us how hard it was, and this is the hardest thing she has to deal with, except for the death of her father. I really hope she turns it around, but I really don't think she will make it too far. The same thing with Anthony. I hope they leave him out there for a little bit. Don't think he'll make it too far. Our next one, we have two guys on there named Ryan. Both are pretty efficient. They both made some pretty good shelters when they first got out there. We'll go with Ryan H first. He seemed like he was doing pretty good out there. His part of his team is his parents, his mother and father. And during the drop, they got all kinds of stuff, and they put all the small stuff in a pot. And they put a sleeping bag and kindling, not the fire starter, the kerosene rod, but they did get the kindling in there. And then they had everything else in the pot. Well, the last seconds are ticking down, and they go to put the pot in there and close the lid. The pot is too high. They take the pot out and close it. All he got was a sleeping bag and kindling. The parents failed miserably on that one, but he was still in good spirits when he did get this drop. He didn't complain as much as, the 18-year-old Anthony. But he does seem in good spirits, and he'll have a rougher go at it. On the other hand, the other Ryan has his fiance or wife, I'm not sure, and his brother. And to me, he has a real good chance of making it quite far. He seems very determined, and these are nowhere near experienced survivalists, I might add. As you've seen, we have hairdresser and yeah. But Ryan W. Made a nice shelter. It was time for his drop. His family members gave him quite a bit of good stuff. The first night he did have encounters with a bear, which was kind of spooky. But he's one of those that I think will have a good chance of making it. Now we have our next one, Woody. And I do believe it's a son, and his two sons are on his team. Now, one of the sons is an expert, so to speak. Now, Woody gets out there, and before he finds his shelter location, he is already well into sweating, and he can hardly breathe. He's 52-year-old. He is, somewhat overweight. Not doing too well, I might add. And he doesn't really get a shelter going. The first day, he drinks all of his water. It comes time to get his drop. His sons do give him some good items. Unfortunately, they did give him a bow drill and the supplies for a bow drill. And to me, I think that was a mistake. The mistake of the so-called expert to give him a bow drill, assuming that he knows how to use a bow drill, assuming that he is good enough to use a bow drill, because I don't care what a lot of YouTubers say and do or whatever. Bow drills are not an easy way to start a fire. They are hard. in the best conditions, there it is still hard to make a fire with a bow drill. And instead of giving him flint and steel and kindling, they give him a bow drill. And he fails miserably. And on top of this, he is dying of thirst. So he goes down to the lake, fills up his canteens, and drinks without a fire because he couldn't figure out how to do a bow drill. So he drinks, and he drinks and drinks. And toward the end of the episode, you see him healed over, barfing away. And that is a perfect learning experience why you don't drink water unless it is sterilized, unless you know it's sterilized. That means doing it yourself. With that being said, he may be one of the first ones to be extracted. Now, we are going to go to the thing that's going to ruin the drops for the whole groups, and that is Jacobin. Jacobin. When it comes to drops, again, remember, there is not enough items for everybody to get one of everything. So, that being said, his family members, I do believe it's his father and his uncle, they stick multiple items, 2 knives, everything that was there, they had got it crammed into there. And the other groups were not happy at all because there were some people that didn't get those items because of them hoarding the gear. And their idea is, we don't care about these other groups, we only care about winning. And you knew there was going to be a few of these people, these types in these groups. That being said, they didn't really show too much of his adventure going on. They did show him getting all the materials and stuff from his drop. But we're going to go over to our next one, and that one is Ashley. And this is her with her fiance and her father-in-law that are on her team. And she seems pretty tough. She does. I did see something that I wasn't, too thrilled about, but she did make a halfway decent shelter, somewhat of a lean-to. It'll have to be fixed up. But when it comes down to the drops, family members, fiance and father-in-law did provide a lot of good stuff: flint and steel, kindling, food, sleeping bag, and knife, and that type of stuff. Well, when it came down to making a fire, there's a few things that I want to go over with this. She wasn't very good at fire starting with a flint and steel. She knew some of her mistakes, but one of the things that I gathered from her fiance that, I showed her how to do this. When I heard that, I knew for a fact that he showed her how to do that. He didn't have her do it herself. There is totally different scenario when you see somebody doing something and actually trying to do it yourself. So to me, that is a fail on him. It has nothing to do with her. That was him teaching her how to do something and showing her how to do it is totally different than explaining it and letting her do it herself so she can figure it out herself. I'm pretty sure that she will get it eventually because she knows her mistakes. And also, as he was walking away frustrated, her fiance, I'm not going to marry somebody that can't make their own fire. uh, I didn't like that at all. Nope, didn't like that. Now, I'll go over some of the other contestants within this. We didn't see anything from them. We seen a little bit from Haley. And I do believe it's her sisters or best friend. I think she looks like she's on the tough side herself, so I think she might go pretty far. And then we have Jake with I'm assuming it's his friends or his brothers. I'm not too sure. We didn't see much on that. Same with Megan. Megan is an older woman. We didn't see much of her. It's her father and her best friend. And then there's Robin. Really didn't see much on Robin either. Robin or the next one, which would be Rose. Didn't see much on those. So hopefully the next episode we will see more on that. All in all, I think it's a good series. Very educational. I don't look at things for the reality type aspects of shows or anything like that. I look at it for learning and experience. And like I said, with the Ashley and her fiance, I seen some things in there I didn't like, and it's a good learning experience for somebody out there that is thinking about getting into this. Now, the fact that a lot of these people that don't have this experience, it is scary to believe that there are people out there that don't have enough experience to build shelters. I've seen a lot of mistakes going on with all these contestants, but we'll see how it pans out. And with that, let me know in the comments if this is something that you want me to go over more. And we'll leave it at that. God bless.